Hi there. Welcome to Everyday Conversation with Everyday People. This is a series of conversations which I will be having with people from all walks of life, and we will be talking about issues that matter. Today, joining me in my conversation is my good friend Arti. Whilst she is a wellness advocate, she is also professionally trained as a corporate lawyer. Therefore, it is perfect to have her in our conversation on reigniting today. Let's find out how she repivots herself in the new normal. Good morning. Hi, Arti.
Hi, Germaine.
Hi, welcome to Everyday Conversation with Everyday People. Thank you for jumping onto my virtual sofa and have a chat. I wish that, the next time we see each other, we are actually sharing a coffee. How about that?
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Looking forward to that too.
absolutely. And you are looking wonderful as always, and
Thank you.
yeah, happy to start to talk about the topic that we wanted to address because it's very close to both our hearts, isn't it? On the topic of reignite. So clearly, we are addressing the situation where in the last 2.5 months, I think a lot of us have been pausing because literally there's nothing to do. So we have lots of time to think and rethink and maybe reposition. So right now is we are stepping, out of pausing. So I just want to ask you, in reigniting, you know, um, have you thought about this subject, stepping into the new normal on reigniting?
Yes. So I think that um, stepping into a new normal, I think that firstly, we've got this current situation where it's brought about very rapid changes in the way we've had to do things.
Uh-huh.
And so it's brought to light the fact that, as we move forward, things are not quite going to go back to what they were before.
Yeah.
However, the truth is the only constant in life ever, COVID or no COVID, is actually change. So, so reigniting for me is something that we should actually be considering on an ongoing basis because things are always going to change, you know. So, including the pause, when we pause, we should actually be having micro pauses in our lives on a regular basis so that we can reflect, review, evaluate, and then decide how do we want to move forward, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's to me, reigniting. And then when you do that in a thought out way. You do that thinking about what manner in which going forwards would help you. And that already, in a sense, is a bit of an ignite, right? It's a bit of impetus. It's a little bit of a fire in your belly again because you've thought about something you want and then you step forward and you go there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that also only comes with a pause. So to me, I mean, you very nicely, created your little series and it really flows.
Yeah, Arti, I hear a lot of people talking about the new normal. Very frankly, in the last 2.5 months, when I have plenty of time to think, I was thinking, oh, what new normal? When circuit breaker lifts, I'm just going to like step back into whatever we used to do 2.5 months ago. Do you think, number one, that there is a new normal? And do you think that as we step out, we are literally stepping back into what we used to do before?
I don't think it's possible to step back to what we used to do before. Um, I think that this has brought about really big changes, and because of the changes that it brought about generally, if you think about what companies have had to do, everyone has to work from home. So companies that even run in a traditional way, where everyone always is in the office, they've had to equip their staff with computers um, and do things that enable more remote way of working. And all of this has been at a cost, right? You have to
Yes.
pay for it. So, and over these, and because this was enforced, people got to see, oh, actually, it kind of works. To some extent it works. Maybe we need to make some changes in the way we do things, but it does work. And it can work in a way that I can have a smaller office. And I've already spent on all this technology, right? So how is it possible to go back? I mean, I don't think we will. I don't think we can. I'm sure some of us will try. Some people are sure to try, but I think things were already changing. This has just been a big push, a bit of a shock, but it's just pushed us a little bit more forward. So I think when I think about this in terms of how do we as everyday people, what do we do? How do we deal with this?
Yeah.
And that's the big question, right? So I think, there's a lot of stress,
Correct.
right? And we don't know what changes we're going to see on an ongoing basis, but I suspect there'll be more things happening that will create even more stress and anxiety.
That's right.
I mean, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I do feel that might be the case. So then when we talk about reigniting, actually for some of us, we need to pause a little longer. We may have an extended pause.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then we pause and then we have to reflect. And I think the number one thing is we need to think about building up our own resilience,
Yeah.
our own ability to cope with change,
Correct.
our ability to look at a situation without catastrophizing, thinking, oh my God, how am I going to survive? What's going to happen? But rather, can we learn the skills to take a step back and acknowledge what's happening, look at the situation, know that, okay, I'm feeling lousy about it. It's bad, yes. But now that I see this situation, what can I do to move out of it? Okay. So this is and that's a skill. Some of us are, we all have different natural abilities, and some of us are better at doing that, and some of us tend to get all excited very quickly and then get really caught up in our situations. So
Yeah.
I think that actually building resilience by learning mindfulness, by learning to be able to step away from your thoughts and observe your thoughts. Okay, for every person, I mean, regardless of the current situation or not, we all have challenges, and to be able to do this, will allow us firstly the ability to cope,
Yes.
and also to make more reasoned decisions and not react. So rather than reacting out of an emotional state, we actually can reflect, and upon reflection, make a choice.
And well said, Arti, because as you were talking, it made me thought of this very big word called mindset. Reigniting is all about shifting and pivoting a mindset, isn't it? Now, when we always talk about changing of mindset, it actually freaks people out, like, oh my gosh, why would I need to? I'm already 50, I lived with this mindset for 75% of my life, is that really necessary? Do you think that coming with the new mindset is very necessary for survival in the new normal?
I think the ability to be flexible mentally and to some extent physically is what allows us to stay youthful, to
Yeah.
stay optimistic. So instead of being scared of, why must I change? I've been like this. Yeah, but why not think of the possibilities? What if? What if you did something a little different? What might it open up for me? It might open up possibilities that you never thought existed before. And how nice is that, right?
Absolutely. I agree with you. Look at the two of us. Seriously though, Auntie, I never thought that I would do this, So a word to the
Yeah.
people who are watching us, if we can do it, so can you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. So I want to address this small little elephant in the room, when we are stepping into the new normal, Artie. There is this thing called living versus livelihood, because let's get real. Some of us are going to have our jobs like disappeared overnight. Some of us are going to lose the job, and so on and so forth. So to a lot of us, stepping into the future is very bleak. So what's your take on living versus livelihood? There is a difference here.
Yeah, I think we all, to some extent, work because there's some necessity,
Right.
right? Um, it again boils down to mindset, because no matter how much you love your job, right? Like, I mean, as you know, I still work corporate. I have a day job, but I have a little side project which I love to do, right?
That's right.
And we are talking in my capacity, in my personal capacity, really.
That's correct.
And so that gives me great joy. And people might ask me, why don't you do that full time? So for me, my choice is very clear. I mean, I have a job which fulfills my needs, and then I do this thing on the side, and it's something that I love to do. And my choice is, I never want to depend on it as an income, because whenever you do something as an income, there are certain business realities, if you like. And if I would not want to sell out, if I don't want to compromise on certain things, then better I keep it as this little thing that gives me great joy, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm at work, which I also enjoy, but everything has its ups and downs. I mean, no matter what, right? No matter how much you love something, there'll be bits of it that are not so much fun, right? So then it comes to, why do you do it? What is the purpose behind it? So of course, this is very cliched. I know a lot of people talk about purpose, but that's exactly it. I mean, sometimes we do things that are not so much fun, and people say, I don't want to do it. But the truth is, if doing something that's not pleasant is going to take you where you want to go, then you make a choice, right, to do it. So actually, it's not that you don't want to do it. You may not like doing it, but you want to do it because you want what comes from it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so likewise, I mean, it's a bit of a long story, but to come back to livelihood and living, right? Sometimes we have a livelihood, and the livelihood leads us to our living because there is a sense of purpose in it. So I don't believe in this dichotomy, a lot of it is how we see it. How do we look at things? So again, it comes back to perspective, it comes back to mindset. So it comes back to, for us, I think the most important skill that we can cultivate for ourselves is actually mindfulness, the ability to take a step back and look at things, with a clear, non-judgmental eye. We just look, okay, this is the situation. Can we list out the situations without putting any judgment on it? And then we look at it,
Yeah.
okay?
I agree.
And then asking ourselves questions. So why are we doing it? Am I getting what I want out of it? And when you look at all of it, you might say, you know what? Actually, it's okay.
So of course, we want to keep, our conversation short because we do snippets, of talking
Yep.
people like yourself. So on an ending note, I just want to ask you, if you have any thoughts to give, our viewers, what can we practically do, as we now step into the new zone of the new normal? What do you think people can practically do, with themselves?
I think practically speaking, I think that when we are feeling fearful, especially, or feeling anxious or concerned, and we have a lot of thoughts, what ifs in our mind, just remember one thing: we need to stay present. Okay.
Yes.
So when we worry about the future, okay, that creates anxiety because we are projecting to a time that doesn't exist right now. So when we're anxious, whenever we notice we're anxious, the best thing to do is pause, take a few breaths in and out, feel your own breath, feel your own body, and remind yourself that you are here now.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself, okay, now am I okay? Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have food to eat? Okay, am I surrounded by my family? So what's happening now? Stay there. Stay present. Stay present.
I agree. So on that note, Arti, thank you so much for joining me and taking time out to just have a chat with a friend, and you stay positive and stay safe. So till we meet again next time.
Thanks, Germaine.
Thank you,
See you
Arti.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.